Hey everybody, Nathan Ronen, CFA here with another update. This one is for all candidates in the level 1, level 2, or level 3 program, or candidates that are contemplating entering the CFA program at level 1, or coming back to level 2, or coming back to level 3. Whoever you are, if the CFA is on your radar for 2025, 2026, 2027, whenever it may be, you may want to listen to this update about tricky questions on the CFA exam. If you care to listen, please press the subscribe button and the notifications bell so that you can continue to receive these updates on a weekly or bi-weekly basis as I post them on YouTube and other forms of social media. There's not, well, I can't say, I don't want to exaggerate and say that there's not a day, but almost. There's no day that I am speaking to a candidate or somebody in my program or a potential candidate, and the question about whether CFA exam questions are tricky or not comes up in discussion. I'm going to put this to bed right now. The CFA exam at level 1, at level 2, and at level 3 is not deliberately done to or made to be tricky. Absolutely not. If you don't really believe me, trust me on one thing. There's not a whole bunch of people sitting there at CFA Institute devising the exam and saying, let's figure out how we can make this totally vague and make it so difficult for the people that they won't even know what we're asking. That's not the goal. Nobody's sitting there doing that. What happens is, based on people's backgrounds, based on people's experiences, based on how much people pay attention to detail, based on people's just characteristics, one person might find a question very straightforward, and another person might have questions about it and want to confirm it, and a third person might not really understand it at all because they haven't done the work. So when the CFA Institute devises its multiple choice questions for level 1, or their item set questions for level 2, or their item sets and constructed responses for level 3, in the back of the mind, they're not looking to fail the candidate. You would need to go over to the opposite side of the fence after you're a candidate, maybe work for the CFA Institute, maybe get involved in their curriculum program, maybe be an exam grader, whatever it may be, and see that that is not the goal. They're trying to create a very good exam that doesn't award a particular type of studying. Okay? In other words, they don't want somebody who memorizes to purely pass the exam based on memorization. And they also don't want somebody who is just conceptualizing to pass it, somebody who's only good at math skills and not conceptualize. So they're trying to make a well-rounded exam. Now, you may disagree with that. You have every right to. You have taken the exam, or you're going to take the exam, or what you've heard, but the reality is different. Questions are vetted. Questions are well thought out. Questions are reviewed by multiple layers of people at the CFA Institute before the exam is actually structured. So are people fallible? Can something slip through the goalie or slip through the fence? Absolutely. Is that the goal? Is that what they're trying to achieve? Does that happen on every essay or every question, multiple choice or items? Absolutely not. So I think the best thing to do is get out of that frame of mind, which is what I had to do as a candidate, that CFA Institute is out to harm you, screw you, make you fail, get more money out of you, and sort of like say, okay, well, there's an approach here. I do need to learn the material, but there's also an approach to answering the questions the way they're thinking or the way they want me to think or the way they're educating me. And that's a very, very different type of, thought process. Now, one of the things I also find interesting is that I can look at a question and a candidate will come to me and say, I thought this question that was in the CFA curriculum book is really tricky. And I say, okay, let me take a look at it. And 95% of the time, I'll look at the question, I'll come up with the answer on my own, I'll check the answer key, it'll pretty much be exactly what I thought, I'll read the answer key, and then I'll say, okay, to the candidate, what exactly did you find tricky about this question? And when they try to articulate it, I have to stop them immediately and ask them, is that what the question is actually asking you? And they take a pause. I say, read the question to me. Stop. What did they just say? Least likely. What did you just give me? Are all of these examples as easy as that? No. There are sometimes people who come to me with, a constructed response question that they saw somewhere in the readings or, in some other material and ask me, and I'll be like, there's nothing difficult here. What the CFA Institute is trying to do is they're trying to be as exact as possible with their language. Now, that may not always work. I admit it may not always work. I can't always be exact. Nobody can be always exact. Nobody is infallible. But by and large, 99.5% of the exam is understandable, readable, digestible, and you can answer the question if you don't overthink it. And that could be a lot of times what is causing you not to pass or causing you concern, is that you're looking for the trick. You're looking for something that is going to be manipulated. You're looking for that oddball answer. A lot of the questions are right out of the curriculum. Oh, you have to integrate concepts. It's not going to be like, which of the following is not a quality of a benchmark at a level 3, which one is not the quality of a valid benchmark if you're a level 3 candidate, because they know you've done the reading, but they might give you a scenario and ask you why that index is appropriate or inappropriate. And if you say inappropriate, provide 2 reasons. And if you say it's appropriate, give 2 reasons based on the characteristics of a valid benchmark. That's fair game. But you can't go through the CFA program thinking that everybody's trying to fail you. They're trying to get your money 3 times over. They love to fail people. I can absolutely guarantee you that that is not the case. Totally not the case. Off the mark. And that a lot of times, just people haven't put in the time, the effort, the focus, the concentration, and they're not seeing questions that are exactly like the questions that they did at the end of the chapter. That's a totally different story, and you shouldn't expect that. You should never expect the questions on the actual exam to be a duplicate, just change the numbers, the names to protect the innocent, of what you saw at the end of the chapter or within the reading or on some sample, questions that they gave you or that a third-party provider gave you. The questions on the exam are designed to separate between candidates based on understanding, application, and integration of concepts. It's not there to see who can get tricked the least, okay? And that is really, really important because that's a mindset that you need to have when you're going through this. That not everybody in this world is trying to harm you, hurt you, fail you, screw you, whatever word you want to use. And I can guarantee you when I devise my mock exams, that is not what I'm looking to do to the candidates. I'm trying to educate, I'm trying to see what they know, and I'm trying to improve their knowledge, and I'm trying to prepare them for the exam. I'm not trying to be tedious or difficult or make them fail or buy more mock exams. That's not my goal either. Okay, and neither is it the CFA Institute. CFA Institute, I can guarantee you, wants to see you pass. They want to see you pass on the first try. They want to get you the charter, but they're not going to give it away. And that's very important. Put in the time, the effort, the concentration, the focus, and learn to integrate the concepts. And I think you can pass level 1, level 2, or level 3 on your first try and get your charter. And I'm happy to help you to do that. And that's exactly what I do. I don't just go over content because you have the content in the curriculum. I isolate things in the content. I bring things in the content together. I integrate concepts. I show you how it applies. And all of a sudden light bulbs go off and you're learning the material and understanding it rather than memorizing it. When you memorize it or try to memorize a program, that's when you think everything is tricky. Okay, so that's my 2 cents for today on are the questions on the CFA exam tricky? I know that probably people will post, well, I had a question that I thought was not even in the books or not even in the materials. Again, are there 10%? I would say 10% of the exam questions are going to be super challenging to most candidates. It's not an exam that is designed to get 100 on, that you're supposed to get 100 on. No exam is. I mean, if you go for your boards, if you go for your JD degree, if you try to get licensed in a state, nobody's going to ask you questions that are directly out of the book. And if you just read it once, you can answer all of them and get 100. That's not what the CFA exam is about. And people that actually get the charter recognize that once they get the charter and they say, hey, you know what? I actually learned. There's application here. CFA Institute is trying to make this applicable to my career. It's not, it's not supposed to be an academic exam where you just regurgitate or spit out what you read in the book. So if you need help with passing level 1, level 2, or level 3, I'd be happy to show you how. Check out my website at chalkandboard.org. That's CHALK and AND, board, BOARD, chalkandboard.org. And I think that I can definitely get you over the fence and show you how to connect things so that you are going from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 and not having to constantly retake those exams. Good luck to you. And if you want to reach out to me on my website. My phone number is there, my email is there, and I'm happy to help you out. Good luck.